Just when the world thought Kendrick Lamar's reign was untouchable, the rap game woke up to a shock that nobody saw coming. Last night, with the entire industry glued to their screens, Kendrick didn't just break another Billboard record. He smashed two of the most legendary rap milestones, leaving fans gasping, critics in disbelief, and his rivals scrambling to catch up. Whispers turned to roars as the news spread. The numbers were real. The charts didn't lie. And hip-hop's very foundation was shaking. Emotions ran high as die-hard supporters celebrated in the streets, while other artists watched in stunned silence, their own dreams suddenly looking smaller. Rumors exploded. Did Kendrick have inside info? Was there label drama? How did he pull off two record-shattering feats in a single week? Social media erupted with wild theories, jaw-dropping reactions, and even a few furious tweets from fellow rappers who felt betrayed by the sudden shift in power. As the family gathered around Kendrick, the pressure mounted. This victory came at a cost. And not everyone was ready for the storm it would unleash. Fans are shocked. The industry is divided, and hip-hop's biggest names are suddenly on the defensive. What really happened behind the scenes? What does this mean for the future of rap? And most importantly, can anyone stop Kendrick now? Or is this just the beginning of a brand new era? The drama, the celebration, the secrets, they're all about to be exposed. Keep watching, because the next twist is seconds away. The night was thick with anticipation, city lights buzzing as if they already sensed what was coming. Everywhere you look, Twitter feeds, hip-hop blogs, private group chats, one name kept popping up: Kendrick Lamar. But even in his wildest dreams, nobody expected the world to turn upside down in a single night. It all started with a late-night tweet from Kendrick's official account. Just two simple words: "Watch tonight." Within minutes, it felt like the internet had paused, waiting for something legendary to drop. Behind the scenes, tensions ran high in the Lamar household. Kendrick's family gathered in the living room, every eye glued to the television, his mother whispering silent prayers, his father pacing in anxious circles. His manager's phone never stopped buzzing, calls coming in from labels, producers, even rival artists who pretended to be cool but were really desperate for any clue about what was coming. The world didn't know it yet, but there was more at stake than a #1 spot or a streaming record. This was about legacy, pride, and a battle for the soul of hip-hop itself. As the clock ticked past midnight, the industry's biggest names were up, some in studios, some in penthouse apartments, some posting cryptic messages of their own. Drake was spotted on a private jet, supposedly heading to a surprise gig in Paris. J. Cole went radio silent while fans dissected his old lyrics for hidden shots. Meanwhile, Kendrick sat alone in his studio, headphones on, eyes closed, completely in the zone. He wasn't worried about the numbers, at least not in the way his team was. For him, this was about art, truth, and sending a message that couldn't be ignored. And then the bombshell hit. Billboard posted the update, and it took exactly 30 seconds for the world to realize what had happened. Kendrick Lamar had just smashed two unbreakable rap records, most weeks at #1 for a solo artist, and the fastest climb from debut to platinum in Billboard rap history. Jaws dropped everywhere, but it wasn't just the stats, it was how he did it. Two tracks from different albums shot up the charts in the same week, both breaking streaming records, both igniting wild debates about what counted as real hip-hop. Fans are shocked, doesn't even cover it. Social media melted down instantly. Instagram stories overflowed with celebration. TikTok challenges erupted. And Twitter practically burned to the ground as stans, critics, and random trolls all tried to make sense of it. People posted throwback clips of Kendrick's earliest freestyles, now calling him the greatest of all time. Others rushed to throw shade, digging up controversies, old beefs, and every moment that hinted at friction with the industry's old guard. The drama didn't stop at the charts. In a luxury suite somewhere in Los Angeles, a rival rapper's team held an emergency meeting. We need a response. Now. Someone barked, while another shook his head, muttering, "It's too late. He's changed the game." Rumors flew that some major producers were already plotting a comeback single, desperate not to be left in the dust. On a private call, one old friend tried to congratulate Kendrick, but instead ended up venting. "How does it feel to have every eye on you, knowing they all want to see you slip?" Meanwhile, Kendrick's closest friends tried to keep the mood light. But everyone knew this was bigger than just another award or headline. His cousin texted, "Bro, you just made history. What's next? Mars." His engineer, still writing, the adrenaline from the week sessions, whispered, "Nobody saw this coming, but we did." We always knew. Even as celebration erupted around him, Kendrick remained calm. His mind already spinning with what the records meant and what the world would expect next. But not everyone was celebrating. Inside the Lamar household, not everyone was convinced this level of attention was a blessing. His aunt, always the realist, pulled him aside. "Baby, don't forget where you came from. These people cheer for you today, but tomorrow they'll be looking for your weakness." Kendrick nodded, her words ringing louder than the fans outside screaming his name. The family was left divided, some wanting to bask in the moment. Others worried about the pressure, the jealousies, and the inevitable backlash. Outside, the world kept spinning, but nothing felt normal. News anchors, radio hosts, and even late night comedians rushed to weigh in, some praising Kendrick as a visionary, others wondering if this was a sign of hip-hop losing its roots. Fans flooded the streets in celebration, holding up signs, blasting his music from car windows, and painting murals overnight in his honor. But beneath the joy, a nervous energy pulsed. What had Kendrick started? And could anyone keep up with the wave he'd unleashed? The night ended with Kendrick back in his studio, alone again, reading the headlines but thinking far beyond the numbers. His phone buzzed with new opportunities, endorsement deals, movie scripts, collab offers from artists he never expected to hear from. But even as his team planned the next move, Kendrick sat in the dark, wondering what price he'd pay for smashing not just records, but expectations. As the sun rose on a new day, fans were still buzzing. The industry was still reeling. And Kendrick Lamar, silent and steady, was already plotting his next move. Because in his world, breaking records was never the end. It was only the beginning, as news of Kendrick's record-breaking feat spread across the globe. The ripples of shock grew into tidal waves For Kendrick, the whirlwind had become personal. For years, he'd worn the burden of expectation, quietly fighting battles few understood. His father tried to stay upbeat, but Kendrick could see the worry behind the smile. "Son, just don't lose yourself in all this noise," he said softly, handing Kendrick a cup of tea before the first of what would be many interviews. Kendrick managed to smile, but as he stepped onto a live call with the biggest radio show in New York, he felt the weight of 1,000 eyes waiting to see if he'd stumbled on air. The questions were sharp and relentless. "Kendrick, how does it feel to break records that legends before you couldn't touch?" the host asked, his tone both respectful and loaded. Kendrick took a deep breath. "I respect everyone who came before me. But you gotta understand, this wasn't just for me. It's for everyone who ever felt left out of the story." Fans flooded the station's lines, some in tears, others just screaming, "You saved hip-hop." But not every caller was supportive. One critic accused him of chasing numbers over substance. "Are you really about the art, or just the stats now?" The words stung, and for a moment, the family watching at home tensed, wondering if this would be the moment he broke. He didn't. Kendrick leaned in, voice calm and steady. "The numbers mean something, but the music is what matters. If you don't feel it, none of this is real." The room fell silent, then exploded in applause. Even the doubters online admitted that whatever Kendrick was doing, it came from a deeper place than just chasing clout. But outside, the drama was only heating up. A rival rapper, furious at being bumped from the charts, dropped a surprise diss track at noon. Social media went nuclear. Fans dissected every lyric, trying to guess if Kendrick would clap back or keep silent. Producers texted each other in panic, worried that alliances were shifting and the landscape of rap would never look the same. Even Kendrick's old friend, now a top label exec, called in a panic. "Be careful, bro. They'll build you up just to tear you down," he warned at the family, for their part was caught in the middle. Kendrick's mother urged him to stay above the drama, but his younger brother cheered every spicy lyric online, loving the chaos. "It's hip-hop, Ma. This is what we do," he insisted. But his father, ever the steady voice, sat Kendrick down after dinner. "Every record you break, every new fan you win, there's someone out there who wants to see you fall. Just don't give them a reason." Through it all, Kendrick remained strangely focused. He knew the cost of success: the sleepless nights, the friends turned competitors, the industry that cheered you one day and forgot you the next. He watched as those closest to him argued about the right way forward, saw how even the biggest win brought new wounds, and wondered quietly if he could ever win without losing something just as precious. As night fell again over Los Angeles, the parties continued, the headlines kept coming, and somewhere in a quiet studio, Kendrick Lamar began to write. Because in his world, breaking records was only half the battle. The real fight was proving to everyone and to himself that he still had more to say. And outside, the world waited, hungry for the next twist, the next track, the next impossible record to fall. By the next morning, the backlash had begun in earnest, with Kendrick's name still at the top of every chart and every trending topic. The world that had been celebrating just hours earlier started to fracture. Fans argued in group chats about what his success really meant, some saying it was the ultimate triumph for real lyricism, others complaining that the industry had finally gone too far, that even Kendrick was now just another cog in the corporate machine. Emotions ran high, and the family was left divided. His aunt posted prayers for his safety on Facebook, while his cousin started a war in the comments defending Kendrick against old high school rivals, now suddenly calling him a sellout. The hip-hop media machine cranked up the pressure. One outlet ran an expose: "Is Kendrick Lamar too big for the culture now?" Another dropped a list of rappers most threatened by Kendrick's new reign, with names from Drake to rising underground stars, as if a hit list had just been published. At the same time, op-eds appeared, some calling this a golden age for rap, others worrying aloud about the impact on younger artists and the genre's future. Every hour brought a new headline, a new tweet, a new rumor about what Kendrick's next move would be, and who would be the first to challenge him. Inside the Lamar home, tension simmered. Kendrick's phone barely stopped buzzing. Some texts were old friends offering congratulations. Others were artists he hadn't spoken to in years, suddenly checking in with suspicious timing. He ignored most of it, choosing instead to walk the neighborhood hoodie up, soaking in the ordinary peace of a world that had no idea their neighbor was now, officially, the most dominant force in rap. His mother called him back inside with gentle urgency. "Boy, you can't just disappear. Everyone's looking for you now." He smiled, kissed her forehead, and sat quietly at the kitchen table, where the only headlines were the ones his family made up themselves. The drama outside only escalated. A well-known producer publicly accused Kendrick of secretly signing a deal with a streaming giant, claiming that was the real reason for the record-breaking numbers. "It's not organic, it's business," he tweeted, instantly sparking another viral debate. Fans demanded receipts. The label denied everything, but the rumor would not die. In Atlanta, a group of up-and-coming rappers released a fiery cipher, taunting Kendrick to respond. "Numbers don't mean respect," one spat, and the internet replayed the line 100,000 times by noon. Kendrick's team went into damage control mode. His manager called emergency meetings to plot their next steps. You need to get ahead of this. Post a video, say something, he pleaded. KendrickEver.com shook his head. Sometimes the best answer is to let people talk. His father agreed, but his sister worried. If you stay silent too long, they'll write your story for you. Even the fans were split, half demanding a response, the other half praising Kendrick's quiet confidence. Amid all the noise, there were moments of clarity. In one candid scene, Kendrick met with an old friend, a producer from his first days in the game. Over coffee in a Backlash cafe, they talked about everything and nothing. The conversation looping from memories of broken microphones to the weight of breaking records. "Are you happy, K. Dot?" his friend finally asked. Kendrick stared at his hands, shrugged, and replied, "I'm grateful. But I'm tired too. Every win means you gotta defend it tomorrow." The tension came to a head that night when Kendrick finally stepped out at a surprise show in Los Angeles, packed to the walls with die-hard fans and industry insiders. As he took the stage, the room pulsed with excitement and anxiety. In the back, rivals whispered and plotted. On stage, Kendrick addressed the crowd with rare candor. "These records, these charts, none of it means anything if you don't feel the music. Don't let them turn art into numbers." The crowd exploded in cheers, tears, and a few scattered boos. But Kendrick looked relieved. He had spoken his truth, whether the world was ready to hear it or not. Outside, news vans packed up. Analysts made their predictions, and the Lamar family huddled together, watching the city lights blink late into the night. For a moment, it seemed like maybe, just maybe, Kendrick had made peace with the chaos. But even as the applause faded, everyone knew the story wasn't over. The pressure, the drama, the endless chase for meaning and respect would start again. Tomorrow? And as the world waited for Kendrick's next move, every fan, every critic, and every rival wondered, what record could possibly be left for him to break now? As dawn broke on yet another day of relentless headlines, Kendrick Lamar found himself at the crossroads of triumph and turmoil. Even as the world still buzzed over the 2 Billboard records he had just shattered, the mood around him was far from simple celebration. For every congratulatory post, there was an angry reply. For every mural painted in his honor, a diss track released in defiance. The rap world was in flux. The living room became the war room. Manager Steve was up early, coffee in hand, fielding back-to-back calls with sponsors and streaming execs. "They want you on every show, every podcast. Man, can you breathe?" Steve joked, only half serious. Kendrick's mother set a plate of eggs in front of him, her eyes full of concern. "Baby, you're carrying more than a record. Don't let them eat you alive." Kendrick tried to smile, but exhaustion tugged at his features. "His sister, always," the firebrand demanded. "So what? You're just gonna let them keep poking you? Fight back, Kendrick. Let them know who you are." Outside, the city's radio waves blared endless hot takes, some calling Kendrick's achievement the crowning moment of modern rap. Others declaring it the final nail in real hip-hop's coffin. On social media, fans dueled over every lyric, every interview, every moment of silence. One fan's tweet went viral. "I love Kendrick, but can we go back to music that actually means something?" Another clapped back. "He's the only one who's ever meant anything." The back and forth never ended. In the industry, old friends became frenemies. A-list artists who had once championed Kendrick now debated whether to work with him or compete against him. His former collaborators called for loyalty. New faces begged for a feature, desperate to ride the wave. In a particularly tense moment, a producer tried to lure Kendrick into a public feud, leaking a fake conversation that painted him as arrogant and ungrateful. For a while, #Kendrick exposed trended, but soon faded under the sheer weight of fans who refused to let the drama overshadow the music. Kendrick found rare comfort in the studio. Behind closed doors, he vented into the microphone, laying down verses full of pain, pride, and doubt. His engineer, eyes wide, told him, "This new stuff, no one's ready." Still, the pressure didn't let up. At a family dinner, old wounds surfaced. His uncle complained about too much noise, not enough heart, while his cousin clapped back. That's what change sounds like, old man. Emotions ran high, and the table was left in awkward silence. After dessert, Kendrick's mother hugged him, whispering, "No matter what the world says, you're my boy first. Don't forget that." Outside, murals grew larger, fans gathered. Nightly at street corners, and the world's media speculated about what Kendrick would do next. Interviews piled up, endorsement deals lined the table, and every late-night host wanted a piece of him. Yet through it all, Kendrick moved with a quiet determination, refusing to let success define him or destroy him. The world had never seen anything like this. 2 records, both shattered. An artist at the height of his power, yet pulled in 1,000 directions. Critics argued, fans cheered, the family fought and made up. And somewhere deep in Los Angeles, Kendrick Lamar sat at his piano, letting the chaos fall away until all that was left was the music. And as the sun finally set, casting a golden glow over the city that had raised him, Kendrick scribbled in his notebook new bars, new dreams, new battles. Outside, the world wondered if he'd ever break another record. Inside, Kendrick just wondered if he'd ever find peace in a world that never stopped watching, never stopped judging, and never stopped wanting more. But one thing was clear to everyone now. No matter how high the numbers went, or how loud the noise became, Kendrick Lamar had already changed everything. For the first time, even his rivals had to admit there was no going back. The story had only just begun. And now, after witnessing Kendrick Lamar shake the very foundation of hip-hop and break not just 1 but 2 Billboard rap records, the world is left buzzing with questions only time can answer. Is this truly the dawn of a new era in rap? Or will the old guard find a way to strike back? Can Kendrick keep the momentum? Or will the pressure and the doubters finally get to him? Emotions have run high, families have been divided, and the culture has been changed forever. But what happens next depends on voices like yours. So, what do you think? Does Kendrick deserve the crown? Or is there someone waiting in the shadows, ready to take the throne? Drop your wildest theories and hottest takes in the comments below. Let us know whose side you're on. What record you want to see broken next? And what hip-hop means to you right now. Don't forget to smash that like button if you live for the drama. Subscribe for more breaking news and wild twists. And hit the bell so you never miss another beat in this ever-changing game. Your voice is what keeps the story alive, so speak up, join the debate, and get ready, because the next big shock is just around the corner.